Hare Krishna devotees. Welcome all the Vaishnavas here for another Kartik month special of Harikatha from Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 10. So over the last couple of days, we were looking at the Rasa Panchadhyay, as it is called, which is the Rasa Leela of the Lord along with the gopis. And we tried our best to understand the position of the gopis, how exalted they are in worshipping the Lord selflessly. They didn't care much about themselves or their own families. Their main interest was to be completely absorbed in the service of Krishna. So the Rasa dance is completed, and then the Lord instructs the gopis to go back to their respective residences and continue to perform their duties and responsibilities towards their respective family members. So now we'll go into the other pastimes as much as you can with the limited time that we have today. So one day, the cowherd men, they wanted to go worship Lord Shiva. And there is a deity of Lord Shiva in a forest called the Ambika forest. So all of the cowherd men took their respective bullock carts and go into this forest so that they can perform some puja and offer their obeisances to Lord Shiva. So they must have traveled quite a distance, because it is said that they took a bath in the Saraswati river. Saraswati river is not exactly close to Vrindavan, right? So that's what Shukadev Goswami says, that after arriving in this place, they bathed the Saraswati river, and they worshipped Lord Pashupati and his consort Ambika very nicely with a lot of wonderful paraphernalia, etc. And then the brahmanas that were there, the cowherd men, gifted them with cows and gold and clothing and nice food stuff prepared for the Lord. And this way, the cowherd men were praying that perhaps, may the Lord be pleased with their services. So they decided that that night they will sleep on the banks of the Saraswati. They had fasted that whole day, and by taking only water. So at night time, while they were resting, suddenly out of nowhere, a very large snake appears. And what was it doing? It just opened its mouth wide and swallowed up Nanda Maharaj. At least it began the process of swallowing him. Nanda Maharaj cries out to Krishna. So, my dear Krishna, my dear boy, please save me, please help me. This serpent is swallowing me. I'm completely surrendered to you, so kindly save me. When the other cowherd men heard the cries of Nanda Maharaj, they woke up and they saw what was happening. And what they did is they tried to use their blazing torches to beat the snake up, to get rid of the snake, to frighten the snake. So even though they tried to do that, the serpent had a firm grip on Nanda Maharaj. Then the Lord understood what had happened. He comes there to that spot and he touches the snake with his lotus feet. And the minute the Lord touches the snake with his lotus feet, the snake gives up its serpent body and appears in the form of a Vidyadhara. At that time, the Lord asks this personality, you look like a beautiful personality. And who are you, and why did you take this body of a snake? At which point, the snake responds, or rather this Vidyadhara responds, saying, my name is actually Sudarshana, and I had a great deal of wealth and beauty, and I used to wander freely in my Pushpaka Vimana. One day, I saw the sages who come in the parampara of Angira Muni, and I didn't think they looked very beautiful. So I made fun of them, of their lack of beauty. So because I did that, I had to accept the sin of criticizing sages, and therefore I have come into this body of the snake. Actually, these sages, although they cursed me that I would take the form of a snake in my next life, it was actually a benediction, because now you have touched me with your lotus feet. You are the master of all the three worlds, and therefore I have been relieved of my sinful activities. And like this Sudarshana glorifies the Lord and says, it is indeed a great benediction that these sages gave me. And then he asks the Lord, please command me, what would you like me to do? And because now that I have been purified, what better benediction could one have than to have the lotus feet of the Lord touch you? So he takes permission from the Supreme Lord. So this Sudarshana, the Vidyadhara, circumambulates the Lord. He bows down before the Lord, and then he returns back to his heavenly planet. And and then the cowherd men were astonished again to see how much respect and veneration that this young boy was being given by, apparently heavenly personalities. And so they were talking among themselves how these two wonderful personalities of Godhead, Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram, were always performing some wonderful pastimes, and how much they were respected. Specifically, Lord Krishna was respected by other great personalities. So again, Lord Govinda and Lord Ram were wandering around in their forests. They were glorifying Vrindavan, and they were singing and dancing. And every time the gopis would hear the flute sound, they would forget themselves. So in this way, as the two lordships were in the forests of Vrindavan, along with their cowherd friends and the gopis, in this instance, the gopis were there with the Lord, with both Krishna and Balaram. Suddenly, another personality comes in their midst called Shankachuda. And what does he do? He chases the women and herds them towards the northern side of the country. So essentially, he was trying to kidnap them, to kidnap the gopis. What was the mood of Shankachuda? He was thinking, why only this Krishna can enjoy all these beautiful women? I too want to enjoy them. And this was his mindset as he was driving the gopis away from Krishna and Balaram. So immediately the gopis begin to cry out to both Krishna and Balaram to kindly protect them, that they were being harassed by this demon, Shankachuda. And the Lord said, do not be afraid. I am here to protect you. So when Shankachuda sees both Krishna and Balaram coming towards him, and Shukadev Goswami says he sees them as time and death, the two lordships. He becomes so confused and bewildered, he abandons the women and tries to run away from the Lord. But the Lord chases Shankachuda, and eventually the Lord kills him, and also takes the jewel that, the crest jewel that Shankachuda was wearing. He takes that away from this Shankachuda. So as the Lord was killing Shankachuda, Balaram had stayed back with the gopis to protect them. So, and it says that the Lord actually offers this crest jewel to Balaram after killing Shankachuda. And he was very, very pleased with Balaram, and therefore for protecting the gopis, and therefore he offers this crest jewel to Balaram. So in between, in chapter 35, there is again a little bit of a Gopi Geet, although the main 5 chapters of a Rasa Panchadhyaya is completed. But after the Lord rescues his father from that serpent and also kills Shankachuda, the gopis are always thinking of Krishna during the daytime because Krishna is not with them. So as Krishna is wandering in the forests, the gopis begin to sing and talk about the various pastimes of the Lord. So after this particular chapter, then a couple more demons are slain. So we're going to look at those two and then understand what do these demons actually represent. So the demon called Arishta comes to the village. He had appeared in the form of a giant bull with a very large hump. And whenever he was walking on Brajabhumi, it appeared that there was like minor tremors, like as if there were minor earthquakes. So he was using his hoofs to demonstrate that he was very, very aggressive. He was bellowing loudly. He was pawing the ground, and his tails were raised up. His eyes were furious. So it was like an angry, upset bull. And he begins to tear up Brajabhumi. And as the clouds are rising up in the clouds of dust is rising up in the sky, of course, the Brajavasis are very, very frightened. And Shukadev Goswami says they were so frightened of Arishta that the cows that were pregnant and the women that were pregnant, they all lost their fetuses in miscarriages. That is how frightening the appearance of Arishtasura was. Not only that, all of the domesticated animals began to run away in fear. And again, the Brajavasis were calling out to Krishna, "Hey Krishna, hey Krishna, please protect us, please save us." And then Krishna comes, and there is a fight that ensues between Krishna and Arishtasur. Arishtasur tries to kill the Lord with his front legs. And the Lord calls to him and he says, "Come here, you fool. What do you think you're doing? How can you come here and frighten my people? Not only my people, you're frightening all of the animals. And do you know why I have come here? I have actually come here to punish miscreants just like you." So when the Lord speaks like this, the Ashura becomes even more enraged, right? But what does the Lord do? He picks him up with his hind legs and throws him like as if he was just a feather. So Arishtasur was even more provoked, and he runs towards the Lord and furiously charges Krishna. And with his horns, he tries to pierce Krishna. But what does Krishna do? He simply seizes him by the horns and knocks him on the ground with his feet, with his lotus feet. And then he punches him. And he takes out Arishtasur's horns. One of the horns, he takes it out as Arishtasur was laying unconscious on the ground. So eventually Arishtasur passes away a painful death. And of course, the Lord keeps that horn that he had taken away from the bull, Arishtasur. You know, they use that horn to blow. So you will see on the altar sometimes the Lord will be wearing this horn on his hips. Yeah. So this is the killing of Arishtasur. And of course, again, the Brajavasis are amazed that how wonderfully the Lord had performed these pastimes. Meantime, Narada Muni goes to speak to King Kamsa. So many demons Kamsa has sent to Vrajabhumi. Every one of them has been broken up like a little toy. So Narada visits Kamsa in Mathura and tells Kamsa, Mother Yashoda's child was actually a girl. And Krishna is actually the son of Devaki. And Lord Ram is the son of Mother Rohini. Out of fear of you, Vasudev took Krishna over to his friend Nanda Maharaj in Gokul. And all of the demons so far that you've sent to Vrajabhumi, these two boys, Krishna and Balaram, have actually killed your men. When Kamsa hears this, he becomes very, very furious. And he picks up a sword, getting ready to kill Vasudeva. Remember, Vasudeva and Devaki are free now. Now, Narada Muni has come and instigated him again. So he is furious. So Narada Muni, when Kamsa tries to kill Vasudeva, Narada Muni stops him and tells him, why do you want to kill Vasudeva? Because Vasudeva is not going to kill you. Who's going to be the cause of your death? It's going to be Krishna and Balaram. So what does Kamsa do? He shackles Vasudeva and Devaki again with iron chains. They were already imprisoned once. This is the second time. After Narada Muni comes and instigates him. So after Narada Muni leaves, Kamsa calls for another one of his demons called Keshi. And he tells him, you please go and kill both Lord Rama and Lord Krishna. That is what he tells him. You do that. And then he calls for all of his ministers, headed by Mushtika, Chanura, Shala, and Toshala, and also for his elephant keepers. And he talks to them as follows. He says, these two boys, they are living with Nanda Maharaj. It has been predicted that they are going to be the cause of my death. So we are going to come up with a plan. Of course, we hope that Keshi will kill them. But in case Keshi is not successful, then we have to figure out how to bring these two boys to Mathura. Because they seem to have home advantage. We are sending demons their way and they are always getting defeated. So maybe it is a good idea for us to get these two personalities to Mathura, then we will have home advantage. And this was Kamsa's thought process. So he instructs them, you construct a nice wrestling ring and make some nice stands so everybody can watch. Ask all the citizens to come. We will have a competition. We will peg this as a competition. But before the competition can happen, he tells the elephant keeper, you get the elephant Kuvalaya Pida ready. Maybe Kuvalaya Pida the elephant can kill Krishna and Balaram so that we don't even have to have a wrestling match with the two personalities. And so, accordingly, Kamsa instructs them, kill some animals in Bali and offer it to Lord Shiva. Let us worship Lord Shiva and pray that we will all be successful. So then, after instructing his ministers this way, Kamsa then calls for Akrura. Akrura is a great devotee of the Lord. So Kamsa tells Akrura, I want you to do something for me. There is nobody else in the Bhoja and Vrishni dynasties who are as kind as you have been to me. You are a very gentle personality. You do all your duties so well. Therefore, I'm completely dependent on you. Just as much as Indra takes shelter of Lord Vishnu to achieve his goals, I am also taking your shelter. I want you to go to the village where Nanda Maharaj lives and invite the two sons of Anaka Dundubi, which is another name of Vasudeva. Bring them here on your chariot. Bring them here because I understand the demigods are telling me that these two boys are going to be the cause of my death. And therefore, give them nice gifts, treat them very nicely, and bring them. And when you bring these two personalities, I will have them killed by my elephant. In case the elephant is not able to destroy Krishna and Balaram, then I have my wrestlers, Chanuka and Mustika and Chanura, ready to kill him. So after Krishna and Balaram are killed, now all of this Kamsa is revealing to Akrura openly. I will kill Vasudeva. And I will kill all of the relatives who are aligned with Vasudeva. Not only that, I will also kill my father, Ugrasena, who is so greedy for my kingdom. I will then kill his brother, Devaka, and all of my other enemies as well. And then, my dear friend Akrura, this earth will become free from all of the thorns. My relative, Jarasandha, Kamsa's, I think Kamsa's daughter is married to Jarasandha or something like that. My elderly relative, Jarasandha, and then my dear friend, Dvivida, they are all my well-wishers. So with their help, I will destroy all of those who are pious, who are aligned to all of the devatas, and then I will take over the entire earth and I will rule this earth. So much advanced planning Kamsa is doing. Now that you have understood my plan, go at once and bring Krishna and Balaram. We will do a nice bow sacrifice. So he had organized for a bow sacrifice as well. And then they can see how opulent my capital is. Let them come and see this. So Akrura says, Akrura is a wonderful diplomat. He tells Kamsa, you've devised a very nice plan. You want to free yourself of misfortune. But destiny is destiny, Akrura says to Kamsa. Yeah, we cannot escape destiny. You can act as per your desire. But since you've instructed me, I will follow your instructions. Saying this, Akrura returns home. In the meantime, the Keshi demon has appeared in Vrindavan. The Keshi is a horse. So same thing happens. He tries to create havoc in Vrajabhumi. The Vrajavasis are terrified upon seeing this Keshi demon. So the horse tries to attack Krishna. And Krishna dodges the horse multiple times. And he seizes the horse with its hind legs, whirls it around like as it was a twig, and throws Keshi like 100 bow lengths away, Shukadeva Goswami says. There is a place in Vrindavan called the Keshi Ghat on the banks of the river Yamuna, where they do the Arathi for Yamuna Devi every day in the evening. It's a beautiful place, this Keshi Ghat. I was just remembering it when I heard this, when Shukadeva Goswami says that Krishna throws this Keshi 100 bow lengths. Bow lengths means the the length of the boat. 100 boat lengths away, Krishna threw. And Shukadeva Goswami says, just like Garuda can just flick a snake away, that is how Krishna just flicked away the Keshi demon. So the horse falls unconscious, and again, when it wakes up, again it tries to attack Krishna. And Krishna just puts his left arm into the mouth of the Keshi demon, as easily as a snake would make a hole in the ground, Shukadeva Goswami says. So immediately all of the teeth of this horse demon fall out and the demon expires. So in this way, Krishna also kills the Keshi demon. Narada Muni has visited Kamsa and instigated him. Now Narada Muni comes to see Krishna after he kills Keshi demon. And he glorifies the Lord, saying, you are the greatest. So many pastimes you are performing, my dear Lord. And in a few shlokas, Narada Muni tells Krishna, you've done all of this, but in the future, you're going to do all of this. So at that time, Narada Muni tells the Supreme Lord, my dear Lord, very soon you're going to go to Mathura. You're going to kill Chanura and Mushtika. You are going to kill Kuvalayapida. Not only that, you are going to kill Kamsa with your own hands. And then I will also witness that you will kill Kalayavana, Mura, Naraka, the conch demon. I will also witness you stealing the Parijata flowers from Indraloka. I will see you defeat Indra. Then I am going to witness you marrying the 16,000 daughters of heroic kings after you rescue them. Then soon in Dwaraka, you will release King Nriga from his curse. You will take the Shamantaka jewel, and then of course you will take another wife, Jambavati. You will bring back a Brahmana's son from death. You will go to your servant's residence, Yamaraj. Shortly thereafter, you will kill the king, Poundraka, this Poundraka who was imitating himself to be Vishnu. You will burn down the city of Kashi. Then you will slay Dantavakra. And then you will put an end to the king of Chedi. This is Shishupal, during the great Rajasuya sacrifice. And like this, I am going to see so many wonderful heroic pastimes from you as you reside in Dwaraka. And these pastimes are glorified on this earthly planet by so many great transcendental personalities. Then I will see you appear as time personified, where you will be serving Arjuna as a chariot driver, and you will destroy entire armies of soldiers to get rid of the burden of these demoniac personalities that are causing a great deal of distress to Mother Earth. So Narada Muni has given a complete summary of what all Krishna is going to do in the future, including speaking the Bhagavad Gita and destroying the Kauravas. So Narada Muni says, great personalities take your shelter, and your will is never thwarted. Everything that you desire has come to fruition. My dear Lord, I bow down to you. You are the supreme controller. Nobody can understand your potency. And saying this, Narada Muni bows down to the Lord, circumambulates the Lord, and then leaves. So Narada Muni has visited Kamsa and has visited Krishna. after he kills the Keshi demon. So the pastimes are continuing, and the cowherd boys have wandered away to a very great distance, because this particular pastime happens deep in Rajasthan. There is a place where the demon Vyomasura appears up on a mountain slope. So one day these cowherd boys were grazing their animals on this mountain slope, and they were playing a game of hide and seek. And they were playing games of thieves and, herders, etc. So out of the blue, a powerful magician named Vyoma. And Shukadeva Goswami says that this Vyoma is the son of the demon called Maya. He appears in the disguise of a cowherd boy, and he pretends to join the game of catching the thief who was stealing all the sheep. So pretending to be one of the cowherd boys, what does this Vyomasura do? He steals the cowherd boys who were acting as sheep, and there is a cave on top of this mountain. You can even still go today and visit this. There are many, many stairs you have to climb to get to the top of the cave, where he puts all of the cowherd boys and then shuts the cave with a big boulder. Finally, Krishna notices, hey, what happened to all the people my friends that they were playing with me? They all seem to have disappeared. Only 4 or 5 boys were remaining acting as sheep in this game that they were playing. So Krishna understood, acha, so this boy has come in the disguise of my friend, so I have to take care of him. So Krishna catches this demon Vyomasura from the top of the mountain, and he just throws him down the mountain. And the demon assumes his original form. He was very large. He was as large as the mountain, Shukadeva Goswami says. So that's how huge this Vyomasura was. So he tries to free himself from the grip of the Lord, but the Lord held him tightly between his arms. After he had thrown him down, he holds him very tightly between his arms. And just as Shukadeva Goswami says, just as somebody would kill an animal for a sacrifice, the Lord simply chopped his head away. And then the Lord breaks open the boulder, which was blocking the cave, and he is reunited with the cowherd boys that were playing with him. So now Akrura is traveling to Vrindavan. So he leaves Mathura on his chariot, and as he is coming towards Vrindavan, all he's thinking about is the Supreme Lord. So although the distance from Mathura to Vrindavan is probably in modern day times, it won't take more than 45 minutes to an hour to get from Mathura to Vrindavan, because Akrura was so absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna. He was thinking, what great fortune. Kamsa has sent me to invite Krishna to Mathura, but look at my good fortune. Today I am going to see Keshava. Because he was so caught up in thinking about the Lord, it took him an entire day to reach Vrindavan. Because he was wandering here and there, because, I'm sure many of us who drive may have experienced this. Sometimes we don't know that we're driving, our mind is just caught up in something else, and suddenly we have to pay attention to the road in front of us. Like this, Akrura was just completely lost in thoughts of Krishna. He was just constantly thinking, how is it that, I have this benediction of, it is very, very difficult to get darshan of the Supreme Lord. But, as rare as it it is for someone who's born of a Shudra to recite the Vedic mantras, that rare it is for me to have this opportunity to go and see the Supreme Lord and pass on the message that Kamsa has asked me to deliver to him. So like this, Akrura is approaching. He's actually glorifying the Lord. He's thinking, Lord Shiva is glorifying Krishna. Lord Brahma is glorifying Krishna. So many great devotees are glorifying Krishna. The gopis are glorifying Krishna. So obviously word has spread all over that the position of the gopis were also known by the Mathura Vasis. So word has spread. So like this, Akrura finally comes to Vrindavan. And he thinks, okay, when I see the Lord, what am I going to do first? I'm just going to fall flat at his lotus feet. Maybe he will put his lotus hands on my head and bless me. In this way, I will seek the shelter of the Lord. And when he puts his hand on me, all of my fears will disappear. Yeah. So like this, Akrura is thinking like this. And this entire chapter 38 of Canto 10 is Akrura thinking about the Lord. Yeah. Meditating upon the Lord. So finally he reaches Gokul. And when he reaches Vrajabhumi, what does he see? He sees the footprints of the Supreme Lord. He's able to recognize the footprints of Lord Krishna because he sees the marks left on the ground of the lotus, the barley corn, the elephant goad, and he just goes into ecstasy. He's not seen the Lord yet. He's only seen the lotus footprints of the Lord on the sand. And his eyes fills up with tears. He just jumps off the chariot and begins rolling on the ground where the footprints of the Lord are, saying, "This is the dust from my master's feet. Let it be all over my body." There is a place in Vrindavan that we will cover, where if you visit this place, it is specially meant for you to roll around on that particular ground, because it is said that that place, the cows were so concerned about Krishna's lotus feet being hurt by thorns and by small little stones and pebbles. They made that place really, really smooth sand. So when you go there, you will see many, many devotees rolling on the ground there, because that is the place where Krishna has placed his lotus feet. So the very goal of our life is achieved when we are able to roll on the ground. Just the Vrajabhumi where the Lord has placed his lotus feet imprints. It is such a pure place, just rolling on the ground, which is what Akrura is doing here. Then Akrura actually sees Krishna and Balaram going to milk the cows. So after rolling on the ground, he then comes and he sees, so the two boys are actually milking the cows. So, and he spots Krishna. Krishna is wearing this yellow garments and Balaram is wearing these blue garments, and how beautiful their eyes looked. They looked like young boys. So Krishna and Balaram would have been 11 and 12 years of age, because this is the time that they leave for Mathura and then they never return to Vrindavan. So Akrura is witnessing this beautiful pastimes of the Lord, of both the lordships, and he's just drinking in this vision of seeing both of them. So the minute he sees them, he again jumps off the chariot and offers Dandavats Pranam to the lotus feet of Krishna and Balaram. So again, his eyes are filled with tears and he's going into raptures of ecstasy, and Krishna recognizes Akrura. And he comes towards him and he embraces Akrura. And as Akrura is standing there with his head bowed down, Balaram grasps his arms, and the two of them walk towards Nanda Maharaj's residence. So Krishna and Balaram are asking Akrura, what brings you here to Vrindavan? Was your trip really nice? Is everything comfortable? So what does Balaram do? He makes Akrura sit on a nice chair and he washes the feet of Akrura. And Shukadev Goswami says that anytime a guest arrives in our house, this is how we should receive them. We should give them a nice seat. We should wash their feet and sprinkle that water that has washed their feet onto our heads. This is exactly what Lord Balaram does. Offers all respects to Akrura. And then, not only that, Balaram massages the feet of Akrura, thinking he must be so tired, he's traveled such a great distance. And then they offer him nice foodstuffs. And after Akrura had been suitably taken care of by both their lordships, then Nanda Maharaj asks Akrura, how is everything going on in Mathura? You know, is Kamsa still alive? He's such a terrible character. And he says, you are just like a sheep under the care of a butcher. You know, a butcher will kill the animal. So this Kamsa, who has murdered his own, nephews, right in her presence, in his sister's presence, while she was crying in anguish, what kind of personality is he? And why should I even ask you, how is he doing? It would be wrong for me to ask how such a personality is doing, because who should care about such a personality? So like this, conversations were going on between Nanda Maharaj and Akrura, and the pastimes continue. So Akrura is given a special darshan by the Lord, which we will look at tomorrow, including Krishna and Balaram entering Mathura. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.